And here we go.
Okay, all right. That was a little weird, but I'm glad we made it.
You said it's live?
Yeah, it's live.
Sweet. Just confirming.
Okay, good. And our YouTube live is up, so we're good. Broadcasting to our million of fan, and
Yeah,
one
fan.
day there's gonna be millions. I don't. You know what? Last time, here's an interesting story.
Okay.
When we had I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes ago, and I was monitoring the chat on the YouTube live.
Yes.
And that's when that guy came on and started talking about
Homeschool.
homeschooling.
Yeah.
Anyway, I honestly thought it was just like a Russian troll or something at first. I was like, there's
like
no way someone's randomly coming onto this 0 viewers YouTube live and commenting. You know what I mean? I was like, there's no fucking chance.
Right.
But, I mean, he either was a Russian hacker who just happened to be nice.
And wanted to learn more about homeschooling.
Or, you know, he was just a regular nice guy.
Yeah. I think the latter is probably the more likely scenario.
Yeah. It's not as exciting, but I do agree with you.
Right. Yeah. And from what I understand, live is a kind of a big deal. Big deal. I don't know if that's the right way to say, but it's definitely where you're going to get a lot more reach and helps grow your audience, I guess, more organically. People are into the lives. Yeah. The live events and whatnot. Feedback.
Sounded like there's a demon of your voice.
Sweet.
Echoing way back here.
Super fun.
I think it's gone.
Oh, gone. Okay. Demon voice is gone. Excellent. So, what's happening?
Nothing. I guess it's Tuesday. We normally we've been trying to record on Sundays, but this weekend was Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their time with family and friends.
Agreed. Yeah.
And all the things that you were thankful for still remain true. Hopefully no bridges were burned over these, I'm assuming, more and more stressful family get-togethers.
I was going to say family get-togethers can definitely be a instigator of a trigger. Yeah, instigator of all kinds of uncomfortable conversations, and maybe Uncle Jim Bob has a couple too many and starts saying some weird stuff.
Yeah, sometimes people are really good at like locking it in until they get drunk, and then
and then
you find out what they're really thinking.
Yeah, quickly, because then they're also tired of being there. If you've been in the house while the turkey's cooking, it's hot. Yeah.
And so for you, are you talking about these big family get-togethers? Let's talk temperature control. What's because I feel like this might be a hey boomer kind of thing, but what are some of your pet peeves when it comes to temperature control at these kind of things? Pet peeves is not the right word, but I'm just thinking of she's a lovely lady, Heidi, my mother-in-law, but she will have a fucking the stove going, the oven going, and a fire going in the fireplace.
Like it's never hot enough.
Yeah, it's never hot enough. And she gets it from her dad.
Okay.
Joe, who I mean, he's 93, so there might be good reason for it. But he would just things were we do every Christmas Eve at his house, and it's like 46 degrees in his living room. And you're wearing your church clothes and your Christmas clothes and stuff like that, and you're just trying to have a good time and drink and stuff, but you're just doing like this nonstop.
Drinking makes you feel warmer too.
I suppose, it flushes the skin a bit.
Yeah, gets your blood going. And then the temperature, yeah, and then the layers of clothing. Because usually nice clothes are like long, you're not showing up in a t-shirt on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? You're not going to church
Yeah.
in a tee. So if you have any self-respect, come on.
I remember one, oh, sorry.
No, you remember one.
A midnight mass, and
Yeah.
a gentleman in the pew in front of me turned around and offered me his flask.
How old were you?
I don't know. Not old enough to take the flask. I was
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I was probably like
Okay.
16 or 17 or something like that. But
Yikes.
anyway, Colin today probably
Poacher.
would have taken a drink just to be able to be like, yeah, of course I did. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone offers you a drink in the house of the Lord, you got to partake. It feels
It's the
sacrilege not to do
respectful
that.
thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were.
Oh,
do you know people that keep their houses at 1 billion degrees just to keep the food warm?
I don't know if the reason is to keep the food warm or if that's just the temperature they like their house at, but my in-laws also have a very hot house. However, at this time, my mother-in-law does like a cool breeze blowing through the living room now. For reasons I will not disclose, but you can make your own assumptions.
Yeah, it's a logical conclusion.
Yeah, and so sometimes she just needs to go stand by a cool breeze. And yeah, it was like pretty chilly when we went to their place. It was like 6 degrees outside. So anybody who sat by the window for even just a minute was like, "Whoa, it's cold out there." So,
Oh man.
but there was a little bit of reprieve, if you will. But yeah, generally their house is like 23 degrees, which
man, that's so warm.
I think is too much for me. I think they set it at like 21.5, maybe 22. And then when Nan comes, they kind of crank it up a little bit because she's older. But I don't want to say every time, but like I've glanced at the thermostat and it's usually rocking 23. So
yeah, I try to be
yeah.
like a 21.5, 22.
Yeah.
But I think the best we're doing right now is 22.5. That was the compromised, air quotes for those only listening.
Okay.
Compromised.
For how cool you wanted it?
Yeah, I wanted it way cooler. And she's like, 22.5 is fine. Because I think it was at 23. I could be wrong.
Okay. 22.5 is good. I feel like as it gets colder, I like the house to kind of just stay the same temperature all year. I don't know if this makes sense, but like more or less like between 20.5 and 21.5, I think is my temperature of choice.
Yeah,
If it's
that makes sense
really hot in the summer, I'm like, crank it down to 20.5. Like, I need some relief. And maybe this is just like this most recent summer, I was pregnant for half of it. So
yeah,
I was hot as fuck. And then I was also extremely hormonal for the rest of it. So perhaps my view is skewed. I don't know. But yeah, like a nice 20.5 in the summer. And then in the winter, I feel like 21.5 is kind of nice. Because like it's not too hot, not too cold. I guess at night, I wouldn't mind turning it down a wee bit. I've seen a bunch of videos, and perhaps you've sent me some on TikTok of how it's like good to cool your room before you go to sleep. So a lot of, I don't say a lot, I think it's like Nordic type cultures do this. Where they'll like open the windows, not a super long time before bed, but like in their bedrooms, they'll crack open the windows, let some cool air in, kind of like suss out all the like air out the sheets and whatever,
Yeah.
let things cool off.
It helps
so that,
cool your body down too.
Yeah. So it relaxes you and gets you ready for snoozing. So they say. Oh, did I lose you?
No, you're back now.
Oh, okay.
I lost you.
Sorry.
I lost
That was
you.
weird.
Found you.
There you are.
Sorry, you were talking about Nordic sleeping
Oh yeah,
sleeping
no,
habits.
I think this is like I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it's just something some people do. But yeah, they'll like crack open the window, let their room cool off, let the blankets and sheets and whatever cool off so that when they get into bed, it's a lower temperature. And you were saying that this promotes.
I'm pretty sure the reason
Performance?
why is because it helps cool your body down
Okay.
and keep it cool, which
Yeah.
is a requirement for you to sleep. Your body has to drop in temperature in order for you to
Right.
sleep.
If it's too
And
warm, it's not going to settle.
yeah, and I'm already like so sensitive. Sensitive is a strong word, but like I get so hot so fast. So
Okay.
I really like I don't really care what the temperature is during the day as long
Mm-hmm.
as it's AC'd and climate controlled. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
humidity in the house, it's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
man, at night, if it was just like 18, 17, 16, I don't care how fucking cold,
16.
just get snuggled up in your blankets and you wouldn't even move. You'd be so fast.
Yeah, I think 18 at night's probably my low point. But I think that'd
It's
be
probably
comfortable.
like lowest reasonable temperature. Probably you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've had the windows open a couple times, like in the changing of seasons kind of thing, whether it be spring or fall, and like the house will get down to maybe 18 overnight kind of thing. And yeah, it's like kind of really refreshing to wake up to.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
If it's really winter, we're not opening the windows really, but even just that, like letting the temperature drop at night, like get up to pee and you're like, oh my god, shivering
Yeah.
on your
Run
way
back to
back.
bed.
Yeah, snuggle.
uh,
A nice duvet. Okay, so this ties into another question I have then. What type of blanket is best?
oh,
Or like
which bear is best?
like
Which blanket is best?
and does it have to be a
Uh,
blanket? Is a duvet
I'm
better? Is a quilt better? Like what
I'm gonna
is
be that
the
guy, and
thing?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it's entirely situation dependent.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, like on my bed, I want a big ass fucking duvet, comforter, whatever it's called,
Fluffy
massive.
or
Yeah,
thin? Heavy
no.
or
Well,
light?
again, situation dependent. Like I want a light,
Oh,
thin
okay,
one
okay,
in
okay,
the
okay, okay.
summer, and I want a
Uh,
heavy, thick one in the winter. We
I
had
see.
two, but we ended up buying a. Oh, this is getting political now. We ended up buying a king size uh, blanket from IKEA because
Yeah.
our queen size bed, to go over our queen size bed, because allegedly
Yeah.
I'm a blanket thief,
Yeah.
and this was designed as an appeasement measure to make sure that she always has the required amount of blankets, no matter what my blanket situation happens to be.
The some people have their own. Like they each have their own twin sized blanket and then they just
Oh,
use their
that
own.
we talked about this on one of the
I
other
think.
episodes.
I think
Yeah,
so, yeah.
they, yeah, like same bed, separate blankets, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That was a
And
technique employed.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I see.
yeah. But yeah,
So,
like
with
snuggling
that
on the
said,
couch, like
yeah.
almost any blanket will do.
Okay, fair.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Um,
As long as it's not one that my dog has stolen and now smells like my dog.
that's true too. I don't want to
Maple
snuggle up
does this
to a dog.
so much. So
Yeah,
much. And I don't
I don't
know
know. I
how
guess
she gets it that smelly so fast. It's like all of her doggy oils.
she just like squirts all out, claims it. It's mine now.
Yeah, she's like insta sweat. Ugh.
You know those like
Sweats.
dollar store like rubber balls that have that net around them, and you squeeze them,
Yeah,
and it all just comes oozing out. I imagine that's what
she does
Maple
that.
looks like on your blanket. It's just
Some people call those toys fidget toys, apparently, because it has
I
like a
mean,
sensory aspect to it.
I guess so. That makes sense.
I don't
If
like
you're
them.
asking me honestly, anything's a fidget toy.
I guess, yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'll fidget with anything.
You get a little, I don't know, We were talking about this, my mom and I, this weekend, because Isla has this really soft blanket and it has like the satin edge.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how some kids really like just like how soothing it is to touch that texture, that like soft satin texture. And I won't call out anyone, but there's somebody I know very well who did this as a kid, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing. Anyways, but yeah, all this to say, I suppose you could turn anything into a fidget, because that's kind of what it served as. Like if that was like the soothing thing, touching that texture, that's like a fidget. No,
I mean, I suppose
it's like a sensory thing.
It's a stimulation.
Yeah.
It's yeah. That's why I mean, you don't even realize you're doing it. My legs are always bouncing. I'm always like flicking pens, and I don't know. I got 5 fucking fidget toys on my desk right now.
Something going on.
I got spin
Didn't
tops.
you get a bracelet? I'm not going to call you out, but like, what is that?
Little spinny thing here.
Look at it. I thought it was a golden snitch at first.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a golden snitch with one line kind of drawn all the way around it to the top. And Olivia will spin it, and she'll look at you, and she goes, "You're getting sleepy."
She's a hypnotist.
That's cute. I got those bunch of those little beady bracelets because I mean, you're not going to walk around with fidget toys in your pocket. That's a little weird. So I just take off the bracelet and
as a grown adult.
You're talking about the toys in my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Because like I can't go to a public office to renew my license or whatever, and then pull out a spin top on their desk. You know what I mean? They'd lose
and just be like, time. Hang on while I do my fidget.
Yeah, thing. I might as well get one of those Tech Deck mini fingerboards and start doing kickflips and ollies on their little workstation.
Totally, yeah. Why not?
But yeah, the bracelets are a fun, easy way and inconspicuous. No one looks at your bracelet. But after a while, they always break and there's beads fucking everywhere.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Sounds delightful. I
feel like that's in particular that you like to mess around with? There's so many opportunities for jokes here. I just hope listeners are inserting them as they see fit. We're gonna keep firing them
out. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of the word? Anyways, Michael Scott would be having a field day with this.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I hate that I do this. It's my mom says it's nervous energy, which I don't think she's wrong. But I think it's other things too. But like I pick my hangnails and the skin around my fingernails.
Oh, big time.
And apparently this is like associated to like a bunch of different things. So they're like, it could be OCD, it could be like perfectionism, it could be, all kinds of shit. So I think it's all of the above. And I do that too much. It's actually often why I shouldn't say often. I haven't really gotten my nails done in a long time. But like for a while, I felt like it was peak problemo. So I was like getting acrylic nails done because I can't.
Oh, that makes sense.
Do that. Yeah.
Little shields.
Like protecting myself from myself. What is going on?
Oh my God.
There's like an actual term for it. I feel like I looked it up once. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Ripping your fingers apart?
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I feel like a lot of people do that. And I'm bad for chewing my nails. The fifth thing that comes off,
picking nails, stimming. Great. Picking nails, meaning? I'm not going to be able to pronounce this.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Oh, Onychotillomania. Onychotillomania? What happens if I look that up?
If you Google it, Google should be able to say it for you.
There you go. Let me see if I can do that. Kind of makes me sound crazy. Repetitive picking or pulling of the nail unit causing damage to the nail matrix, nail bed, nail plate, and Pharyngeal skin. How to pronounce?
Pharyngeal sounds so inappropriate.
It's a very strange word.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh. It's literally making me watch an ad right now.
Fuck you, Google. Like, come on. Just trying to learn how to spell onomatopoeia.
Onychotillomania. Okay. Onychotillomania.
I mean, that sounds really complicated for what it is.
Yeah, so anyways, it's not I don't know. I've done it for so long, like I don't know when it started. I don't know why. I notice Isla doing it sometimes because I think she sees me do it so much that now she's just like, oh, this is what we do. And I'm like, fuck. I'm supposed to be breaking the cycles of generational trauma, not propelling them.
Not perpetuating the cycle.
Perpetuating, sorry. That's the word.
Oh, fuck, I lost it now. Oh, I don't know. Olivia does the same thing. She chews her nails an awful lot.
Okay.
But she's still at that age where toes aren't fucking disgusting. So every now and again, you'll see her kind of. You just look over at her. She looks like a fucking pretzel because she's got her teeth in her fucking toes.
Oh, boy. Do you know, I told the kids, I don't even know if this is accurate, but I was like, that will give you hand, foot, mouth disease. And they're like, what? And I was like, you're not supposed to put your feet in your mouth. It'll make you sick. They're like, okay. Anson took it real serious. I was like, okay. And then 2 minutes later, chewing on her toenails again.
Of course. They got like a goldfish memory.
Yeah. Like she's gonna be 3, so like I'm giving her a little grace, you know. She's gonna be 3.
But as soon as she turns 3, she better smarten up. Because I'm not dealing with this shit.
Will chewing toenails give you? The first thing that comes up is headache, and then the other one is more energy. Hand, foot, and mouth.
I mean, if that was the case, you could just chew your own hair and not be so disgusting. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah.
What do you catch hand, foot, mouth from? Passed on to other people. It's spread through cough, sneeze, poo, and fluid and blisters. Oh, the infection is caused by many different viruses. So you can get it more than once. Most people develop immunity as they get older. Great. Ew.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think that's why you get hand, foot, nail. I lied to them.
You know what, though? I think lying to children is just a natural part of parenting.
I do my best not to. This was an unintentional lie. I did think that was one of the ways that you could get. So that's just my.
I think you can even zoom that out further. I think lying is just required on a day-to-day basis to get
a colorful twist on truth.
Well, yeah, like if someone says, "Hey, how are you?" I'm not fucking breaking it down for you right now, but not good, man. Not good.
I think you're allowed to say those things too, though. Like they're allowed to know that not every day is like rainbows and butterflies.
I suppose I was thinking of just like coworkers and shit.
Oh, a random person.
You know what I
See.
mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's what I meant by like required. You're not going to lie very often. You're still also not telling the truth all the time.
This was legit a full philosophy class that we had. Philosophy? Maybe psychology. We had a class about it in high school, I remember. And they were like, so do you ever lie? And everybody's like, I guess, yeah, sometimes. And they're like, okay. And then they broke down like all the different types of lies, right? I'm sure you did this. You have a psych degree.
Of course.
But then you realize like there are everyday lies that exist. Like technically keeping a secret or surprise is a lie.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Well,
for lack of a better term, a good one.
this is an interesting point.
But then there's lies that can hurt others. There's lies that you tell people to help maybe protect them or protect them in a way that you think, or to communicate something that you think will protect them, right? If somebody's like, if you say we're the middle person between two friends who are having an argument and they're like, oh, did they say this about me? You might just lie. Be like, oh, no, they didn't say anything.
It's interesting too because
is that to protect them or you or what? But
when you talk about a secret, or when they have that conversation about secret, is it like say a surprise party? Like,
yeah,
Jordan wants to surprise you for your 50th birthday.
Yeah.
And him withholding that
Which
information
is a really,
from you.
really, really long time from now.
Super long. Like 46 years?
No, yeah. Can't be that. Yeah. 32, more or less.
Maybe? I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm no mathematician.
Me either.
And I guess what my question really is, because, I mean, what is the imperative to tell the truth?
Right. Like, is truth good, inherently good, and then lies inherently bad? Like, then it becomes that whole conversation.
I guess it devolves to that too, yeah, because my kind of thought was like, we say these things because we believe that it's important to tell the truth, but the truth has to serve a purpose, otherwise it's just another fact, right? Like, am I lying if the information I like say example, like lie of omission, when you just don't include information?
Yeah.
Am I lying to you when, I know that we're planning a surprise for you, but I don't tell you despite us being close friends? Am I lying to you? Like, where is like the gun to my head saying you better always tell her the truth, or you're a bad person, or you're a bad friend, or any number of things. Yeah. So ultimately, I think we try to like romanticize all this shit way too much, when in reality, like, lying is important. Lying is a protection. Lying is a defense mechanism.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
As long as you're honest with yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, and your partners and shit, whatever. But
and
you know what I mean?
Those closest to you, no big deal.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point. I feel like the culture we live in, I think generally is truth seeking.
Yeah.
And I think the climate, not the actual temperature climate, but like political climate, and just like the way that there's like woke culture now, there's a lot of like truth seeking, and people wanting answers and wanting things to change because there's perhaps disparity, or like a feeling that things are unfair or unequal. And like we've talked about this before, equal is not always fair. And so I think in this like hope to seek truth out of whatever situation it might be, like we could take, for example, like in the headlines right now, there's the whole P. Diddy, I don't want to say allegations, but is that how you would term that right now? Because there's not,
I would say,
I don't know if there's proof.
Well, there hasn't been a trial, so we can't, like, no one has banged the hammer and said guilty.
Oh, he got charged. Is that correct?
Yes. He's been charged. I think charges are laid, but the charges are still alleged. Right? Pending. He's still innocent until proven guilty.
Yes. So the allegations for that, as an example, kind of just to illustrate this point, like people want truth to come out, and it's so multifaceted. It's so hard, I think, in these situations, for someone to come forward, because they know that people are going to be hurt by their information. And then we get into like, we have feelings, we are like very complex people, our minds work in like almost unbelievable ways. And like sharing that information is definitely sharing truth, I should say, sorry, is definitely going to hurt some people. Whether it be like they have to relive this when they go on trial and whatever. Sorry, I don't mean to say whatever like I'm brushing it off, but like to encompass all of the things that go with that. And I feel like there's that like classic movie line, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. And it's kind of true, because I think that, I don't want to say it evens out in the end, like that's not true, but there is going to be like an imbalance of like truth seeking and then hurt people, and then who's really getting punished at the end of the day. And you know, whoever was involved still has to live with that reality indefinitely, right? I was trying to tie this back into like, they have to live with themselves at the end of the day, and you have to be comfortable with the truths or the lies that you tell, so that you're comfortable enough to live with yourself through life. That's a really interesting point. Yeah. I hope that like, circled back the way I wanted to. It feels like it did in my head, but like,
let me summarize
that well.
You said fair isn't equal.
Yeah.
Equal isn't always fair.
Equal isn't always fair, no.
And then I wrote the corollary to that, which must also be this like true, which is fair isn't always equal either. So just something to keep in mind. You said, our minds do unbelievable things. My mind doesn't do unbelievable things. I just want to put that out there. And there's a really interesting message from Simon Sinek, who he's sort of like
he's wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, if you folks don't know him, I highly suggest you check him out if you're in a position or envision a future where you're going to be working with a lot of other people on literally anything. It doesn't have to be corporate, it doesn't have to be anything. He offers a lot of good
Question. Like, is he an intellectual?
Yeah.
He has like studied.
Like he's an author. No, he's he's an author. He's not an academic. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a book called Start With Why, which is basically, with whatever endeavor you choose to embark on, if you understand why enough, then you're almost certain to achieve your endeavor. And I think
interesting.
I can't remember the author's name. Richard Frankel. I don't know. Man's Search for Meaning. They talk about the same kind of thing, which is
Start with why.
Yeah, start with why. And his kind of message was similar, but a little darker. But the people in the camps who had hope, had a reason to live.
Yes.
The people who had a why to try. Do you know what I mean? To get up every day and just deal with the nonsense and the horseshit. Those were the people who live, because inevitably everyone gets sick, and the people who don't have a why always died. Whereas the other people, people who are holding on to something, they fared out better by comparison.
The mind is a very powerful thing.
Yeah. But he talks about telling the truth, and is honesty always the best policy? And there's kind of like two different categories of truth here. There's like your big truths. So like we're looking to the government for answers, we're looking to policy and whatever, and society, and there's all these big fucking truths that people need and want and deserve. And then I think what we're more discussing is a lot of just the personal stuff.
Yeah, day to day.
And he says, to that end, there's honesty is always the best policy, but the truth doesn't always have to be in the moment. So he's talking about how to be honest. So rather than, he used a great example. A friend of his was in a play. The play was terrible. And I'm picturing Friends, where everyone's telling Joey he did a great job. And Chandler's like, oh, terrible. Worst play I've ever seen. And Simon's basically saying, do that. But don't do that when it's not the right time. So his friend came up, what do you think of the play? You know what? The music was incredible. The plot line was, captivating. The set design was beautiful. He's like, I said all these things were very true and things that I really enjoyed, but I didn't say, like, you stink in the play.
Right.
And he said, a few hours later, or the next day I went over to their house or whatever, and I said, okay, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You didn't do very well in the play.
Right.
So, like, I don't know who's comfortable to say that to someone, because I would let someone else, like a newspaper, deliver that news. You know what I mean? Whoever did a review for the play. But as an example, it illustrates a good point, which is be tactful. There's a time and a place. You don't have to say it in front of people. You don't have to humiliate or belittle anyone.
Yeah.
And even when you found the right time and place, the way in which you approach it, so that you're not, I've got a great example of this. Truth telling. One of my roles in earlier days of my career, I was a troop leader, so I had 24 to 30 soldiers that were in my troop, and they put in applications to go to do different courses or different jobs and stuff like that. And you're not supposed to. You help them fill out the paperwork, do the write-ups, put the package together, and send it off and everything, right? So, this one
admin support.
Admin support, yeah. We do their admin, and it's so complicated sometimes for no you know what I mean. They make it difficult a lot of the times. But anyway, the guy wanted to go to a different unit. He wanted to go to Special Forces unit, and at the time, our applications had to go with a cover letter from the CO. And if people don't know this, no one in a leadership position that's senior does any of their own paperwork. And I'm talking military, I'm talking corporations. Like, people draft shit for them. They have staff to do this. They draft shit for them. Same with politicians. They don't write their own speeches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people get their career advanced by writing good speeches for these people. So anyway, there's always peons like me who make this, who do the paperwork. But anyway, the cover letter basically said, what I wrote on behalf of the CO to the unit that this guy was applying to was, in a nicer way, I said, he has a hard time focusing on developing his professional competencies here. I don't think he is going to succeed pursuing your professional competencies there.
Okay.
And we had a bit of a professional development session. And it wasn't because of this instance, but this instance got tied into it. At the end, we were talking about admin and paperwork, just a general conversation with some of the senior leadership in the squadron. And Sergeant Major, who is the senior soldier of the squadron, really knowledgeable individual. And also, they're the kind of people that understand how the system works. So they know how they can game it and when. Like, they're the real problem solvers, Anyway, the one guy was trying to explain why my cover letter wasn't so good. And he's like, these things go to the personnel selection officer, and they're going to read the file, and they're going to determine whether or not, this guy or gal is suitable for this position based off of whatever the courses they've done. I don't know. There's this magic back there. But the cover letter, it doesn't have to be written so starkly. Like, these people are smart. They can kind of read between the lines so that you can write a letter on behalf of the soldier, so that if that soldier ever gets to read that letter that you wrote for them, they won't. And the guy kind of trailed off. He's trying to figure out how to finish the sentence. And then the sergeant major said, "Want to split his fucking throat." He's like, yeah.
Was he a boomer?
I think he was a boomer. But I mean, the lesson was really important. Like, there's a way to say things,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to know who you're talking to when you say these things. I mean, in that point in my life, I was just, okay, you want me to say, like, you told me what to do, I did it. You know what I mean? But they're like, yeah, do it better. You're here, I need you here. And anyway, yeah, sharing the truth happens different ways, and you can deliver it in a good way and a bad way.
Yeah, there's different delivery methods for words.
Yeah. Well, no, different delivery methods for difficult conversations, difficult messages people don't want to hear.
And that's the thing. It's what people don't want to hear, and then feelings get tied into it, emotions, blah blah blah. So it then becomes. It's no longer like the message was like the tipping point. There's probably a bunch of other stuff happening. That's.
Oh yeah, I mean that's usually the case, right?
Yeah, what sets it off?
Or which I'm really good at is I just pretend like on the outside nothing's changed. It's just like this. But on the inside, I'm just crumbling.
Deadpan.
It just I fall apart. I cry myself into a sludgy pool of sadness. But that's just how I handle it. Everyone can handle it their own way.
So a couple things. This reminds me of we just started watching Inside Out 2. Have you seen Inside Out 1?
I've seen them both, yes.
You've seen Inside Out 2. Great. So there's that scene at the beginning, spoiler alert for people, but
spoiler alert.
She shows up at the hockey camp, hockey training, and then Joy goes, "Okay, Sadness, you can take over," and like gives Sadness space to allow Riley to be sad for a moment, but enough that it was like, okay, we have to let this out because we've seen what happens when we don't let sadness out. And it just snowballs into this epic disaster where she's trying to run away from home and she's shoving all her emotions. Anyway, I just thought that was like not what you were describing, but kind of like in your mind, everybody's like, okay, lock it in, folks.
Yeah.
This is not the time. Yeah.
This is not a drill.
Yeah. And then, second thing. So we watched that, and it was going to tie into what else we've been watching. The Bear.
Oh, is
cooking
that the chef
show
one with Lip?
Yeah.
From Shameless, yeah. That's a good show.
Jeremy Allen White. I finally remember his name. Feel like I watched Shameless for so long, and he's just Lip forever.
Yeah.
But he has an actual name, so I think that's nice. But yeah, we started watching it, and it was more of like I've heard so many people say how good it is, and I was like, let's just throw it on. So put on a couple episodes. Sure enough, Jordan and I get sucked in immediately. And now all day long we're like, yes, chef, no, chef. Okay, chef. Understood, chef.
That's so like awesome.
All the time. It's goofy. But the show itself, wow. So well done.
It's a good show. It is really well done.
We started it last week. We're into season 2. And almost done. And there's a season 3, thank goodness. But then after that, we're waiting. So
he's gonna get typecast as like a Chicago guy.
I think so. I think he might already be there because we looked at each other a couple times and we were like, Lip would do this.
Exactly. Yeah, his inner Lip is coming. Your lip is showing.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so highly recommend for anyone looking to watch the series. And it just so happened, like I had decided a month ago, Mom and I were talking about like, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? Who's going where? What are we going to do? And I was like, oh, you come over. And then she suggested like a beef tenderloin dish. And so I started Googling beef tenderloin dishes. What comes up? Beef Wellington. I'm like, cool. Sounds nice. So I'm reading the recipe and I'm like, it's complicated, but I think I'd like to do this for a special occasion. So I decided to do it for Thanksgiving. Anyways, and so with us watching the show last week, I was like, I'm in the zone right now.
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm inspired by this show. And yeah, I'm cooking this dish. I was like, I can do it. So I think it helped. It was perfect timing.
Did it work out well?
I think so. Yeah, everybody was like, this is great. The kids, meh, I mean, they're hard to please. I think the beef was it was too rare for Anson. He ate the parts that were a bit more cooked on the outside, and then Isla, she's usually good for protein. It's rare that she leaves protein on her dish, whether it's like chicken, beef, whatever. Yeah. So that was good. And then for those who don't know, there's like a shell, puff pastry, filling between the meat and the pastry. It's quite delicious. I totally recommend it. It is a fair bit of work. Takes the same amount of time as it does to cook a turkey, right? Like you're doing different steps. But really fun to try something new. And I was like, I wouldn't mind making this again. Granted, I think I'll save it for special occasions. It won't just be every Sunday dinner, but yeah, worth trying. And I know that you love to cook, so this might be something.
I love to cook. That's a fucking tricky dish.
And I will say this, I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'm not a cook. I don't enjoy cooking really. If I have it in my head, I want to try a dish. I don't want to say I'm trying to do my best to enjoy it. I usually invest myself in the process of it.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, cooking is not my gig. So yeah. So for someone like you, I feel like, I don't want to say you'd appreciate it more, but I think you'd get more out of it.
Yeah, I probably would. I know how difficult it is.
Okay.
But I've never done it, so now I don't know. I've never even thought to do it. You know what I mean? It never occurred to me to do a fucking beef Wellington.
You can. I can do it. Any fucking buddy can do it, bro.
I made our Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday. We had chicken, which we called turkey.
Nice.
Just
because we're not at home or at the cottage?
Here at home. Cassie worked all weekend.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
I was thankful for that. I made garlic and Parmesan asparagus, and then I made a cheesy sort of broccoli thing, and
nice,
and just mashed potatoes and gravy. But it was simple. I didn't make a fucking beef Wellington. But
I feel like anytime you cook or make an effort to make food, that's huge. I think.
I think so too. I mean, everything is so immediate now. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to.
Right, that's true.
And you have
probably could have ordered Thanksgiving dinner on Uber Eats,
Yeah, like Swiss Chalet.
Yeah, sure.
I want to go back to the Inside Out thing. You're talking about sadness.
Yes.
It's obvious the message in that.
Have you seen this before?
What is this an emotion wheel?
Yeah. Have you seen these before?
Not so detailed, but I have.
Yeah, I was told to get one. So I did. But sadness, we'll get into this more detailed for the listeners. I'll read them out. But sadness. Sorry, you're getting into the sadness piece.
My microphone is falling. Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
Emergency repair.
Like I said before a million times, if we weren't having technical difficulties, would this even be our podcast?
Welcome to our next segment. Oh, fuck. It's getting worse.
It's getting way worser.
Well, maybe you can still hear me here.
I can. Loud and clear, amigo.
Yeah, like we watched Inside Out too, and I was really happy about it because I think it was a great way to communicate to young children the fucking hardship of dealing with your emotions. You know what I mean? It's not easy for anyone, let alone kids. And I was really happy of the additional characters. I thought they were hilarious. I won't give them away in case it's a spoiler, but
yeah, I'm just at the beginning, so the new characters have just made their way in, and I'm already laughing because you can kind of like see where this is going to lead, you know?
Yeah. But I think I'm going to say it's stupid, but the really good takeaway from that movie too is like all your emotions serve a purpose. We tend to label emotions as good emotions and bad emotions.
Yeah.
But realistically,
don't do that.
Yeah, like our whole generation is dealing with repressed emotions. This is what happens when you don't allow your body to do the things it needs to do. You just get sick.
Yeah. So, sadness. There's this whole plethora. Oh, and there's food on my emotions wheel. How interesting. There's like second stage sad emotions, and then there's a third stage sad emotions. I don't think this is the technical graduated system terms, but this is how I'm referring to them. So there's guilty, abandoned, despair, depressed, lonely, bored. Bored falls into sad. And then beyond that, there's remorseful, ashamed, ignored, victimized, powerless, vulnerable, inferior, empty, abandoned, isolated, apathetic, indifferent. That's deep. 3 tiers deep.
Is it like a spin the wheel kind of thing? Do you just flick it and see what you're going to do that day?
Pick this one.
Yeah, I'm going to be bored.
I think it's supposed to help. So the reason this was recommended to me is that I shouldn't say I often, but I sometimes don't know what I'm feeling. So, like, by having this, I can be like, oh, this is what it is. Oh, it's actually surprise, or it's actually fear, or it's actually this. And by breaking it down this way, it's also pointing out whether it's an inward, like I'm feeling this towards me, or I'm feeling this outward towards others. Spoiler alert, it's often towards myself. But this is kind of like supposed to help me understand myself better. So it's a good tool, I think, for anyone to have if you're like not familiar with your emotions.
I'm gonna get one of those,
which I think a lot of people aren't. Like you were saying, a lot of millennials are in therapy for this reason. We have repressed emotions, and so it's like figuring out what they are, accepting them. Like you said, there's no good or bad emotions. They're emotions, and it's kind of like, I don't even want to say working through, just accepting that they happen.
Well, yeah, like if you're sad,
more or less,
sad.
Yeah,
if you're angry, be angry.
Yeah.
But just don't punch shit. Don't scream at shit.
Yeah.
Don't cry in the middle of the street. Or
there's this adorable
in the living room
TikTok
when we're trying to watch TV.
Everybody's laughing. You're like, yeah. There's oh gosh, there's this adorable little girl on TikTok, and her mom's like, okay, what did we say? And she's like, wait, oh gosh. All feelings are allowed, all behaviors are not. And I feel like that's...
It just...
Is that how she says it?
Cut over the whole thing.
No.
I'm so sorry. Could you say it again?
Yeah, so all feelings are allowed, all behaviors are not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like word for word the quote, but like that's...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like that's where we've attached the good and the bad, is that people's behaviors are not the feeling. They're like an outward expression. And it's learning how to behave in a way that is appropriate when you're having feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think a lot of people don't know how. I think this is like a perfect example of like the Karens of the world. They feel perhaps violated, furious, provoked, or
Violated is
hostile.
probably perfect.
Yeah.
Like when you say that, I was like, every single Karen, like they look
feels violated. Yeah.
Like someone just grabbed their titty in public. You know what I mean? Like
that level. Yeah.
That level of egregiousness.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sorry.
So shouting at the manager for 2 hours is not maybe the behavior that we would prescribe for that situation.
Do you ever mix up thoughts and feelings?
Probably, but do you have an example?
I don't think so. I was just curious.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think, if we talk about our state of being, at, like any point in the day, any day, you're not quite sure, what's going on or whatever, but, in a moment, you're standing there and you're like, sadness, anger, whatever it might be, happiness, I don't know what the other ones are. And you're thinking, is it because the things that are running through your head, the thoughts that and this might be different for the audience. Like the way my mind works is it's kind of just like the New York Stock Exchange ticker reel. Banner. It's just one thought after another, and then there's 5 of them on top of each other. So it's just a storm of thoughts, like all the time. So,
you're basically I'm just like at an airport, planes taking off and landing constantly.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Anyway, like generally my feelings are pretty obvious to me. I can tell what mood I'm in or whatever. But sometimes I know that my thoughts just kind of fan the fire. They're not accurate. They're not real. They're just the thoughts that continue to come along with the feeling. And then
what do they call it? Invasive thoughts? No.
Well, invasive thoughts are like, I should just drive off this bridge. But
no, I'm thinking of something else then.
But yeah, anyway, I was just curious because...
Sorry. Intrusive thoughts?
Can the thought bring on the feeling? I'm sure it could, That makes sense.
Right, so...
Like if you remember that time that person punched you in the face, does that feeling come back again? Is that a thought or is that a memory? Are those different things? Oh, man.
That is also a good question. So I think memory would technically be different than a thought. But I think thoughts... Oh, did I disconnect? Have I returned? Oh, dear. No?
Say that again?
Oh, okay. I was just... It said it disconnected for a sec, so I was kind of just giving it time to buffer.
Oh, okay.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, so I think that thoughts are not feelings. Can thoughts trigger feelings? For sure. Because I could think about what I have to do. Memory. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So think of the day your children are born. Okay.
Oh, that too.
Sorry, go on. Patronus charm?
Yeah, like you have to think of a happy thought to do.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not saying it's making you happy, but I'm sure there's a part of you that feels happy while you're trying to fight off all the dementors.
Yes, totally.
Sorry, you were saying?
Wish I had that kind of power. I was thinking more just like you think what is think happy thoughts then? Because I feel like when I think happy thoughts, I'm looking back at memories. Is there another way to think happy thoughts?
We don't have to think in the past.
Mm-hmm.
We could say, I'm happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am, like, I don't know, like, I'm on a
So
beach, like, when you go to your happy place kind of thing. Yeah,
okay.
I'm fired up. Picture Dwight trying to get ready for his performance evaluation. Yeah. He's just in the hallway doing his karate, saying all the great things about him. And those are thoughts, and he's using them to generate the feeling so we can go in there and kick ass. I guess it's kind of the same thing as like listening to music before a big game or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Music trigger our thoughts. What trigger emotions? Can you have feelings without thoughts?
Holy shit. I'm sure you can. I just don't know that, like, the perceiving part of you would be able to differentiate it. Like, right. I'm sure scientifically they can prove that yes, it's possible. Yeah. But, like, I'm picturing, like, LeBron James sitting there with his headphones on, getting ready for a game, and I don't know what he's thinking about. I don't know if he's focused on the game. Presumably, he's getting ready. So those thoughts are driving his feelings. The music is just like, yeah, fire him up kind of thing. But I'm sure, like, I don't know, because, like, if Cassie said, I don't love you anymore, I would feel sad. Yeah. But I would have to feel sad because the thought that I'm being rejected or whatever, you know what I mean, is causing the sadness. Or maybe it's reaffirming some insecurities you may have or whatever. But I feel like the thought has to precede the feeling. Or there's no feeling that you can perceive, but your body is sensing something and trying to tell you via the feeling. You just, like, your spider sense kind of thing. Right. I don't know if that makes sense.
So that's another interesting thing. That, like, sixth sense type of thing. Yeah, intuition.
Like, you feel like someone's watching you. You kind of do one of those. Same idea. But...
yeah, that would be tied to feelings because you maybe feel like watched or nervous or excited. Maybe you're like, oh, is that somebody coming home? You know what I mean? But then I think that's still tied to thoughts somehow.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, like, you can feel the feeling. Yeah. You feel like you're walking down a dark... No. Like, none of this makes sense. I feel like the thought has to be there first.
If you were going to say walking down a dark alley, I'd be like, I feel unsafe.
Yeah. No, you're walking down a brightly lit, highly surveilled open
midday
field. Midday.
Yeah.
Nothing but Girl Guides Sunshine and Boy Scouts around.
Okay.
You couldn't feel safer. But then all of a sudden you feel anxious or you feel in danger. And there's no thought that preceded that. You just feel it. So maybe it's your body sensing danger and trying to communicate it to you. And secretly,
is that in our nature?
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides are a highly trained crew of assassins.
Ugh, knew it.
Yeah, and they're not even going to find you in the field. They won't even notice the vultures. You know what I mean? Like, no one's looking for that.
You were describing this very safe place. And I wasn't quick enough to add this, but I was like, okay, so we're in the middle of Newfoundland.
Yeah. That's so funny. It's funny. Once you get into Newfoundland, you're safe. Trying to get past the border is the hard part.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. Don't try and leave. Asshole.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, we'll charge you an arm and a leg to get out of here.
Do you want to play a fun game before we go?
Yes, and I have two. Did we talk about these last time? I got a couple of Gen Z, Gen Alpha terms.
Oh, let's do it.
I think. Do you want to do yours?
I don't.
Your game first or these?
No, we'll do these first, and then we'll do the game because the game will fizzle out, and then we can just leave.
Okay. Forgive me if we've talked about this one before. Brain rot.
Is that what we're talking about, or is this
brain rot? Is
the reason why we may have talked about this before?
An expression used by Gen Alpha and Gen Z, colloquial term used to describe internet content deemed to be of low quality or value.
Oh my god. Everything on YouTube that the kids watch.
Yeah, so it'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so brain rot. I think.
That's so brain rot? Man.
Or I think they might just shout brain rot, possibly. And have you also heard it's in the same lane? Dog water.
I imagine it means it's terrible.
Rubbish
I feel like
or
I've
trash
used dog
in
water
slang.
before. I think dog water is like a recycled one.
Is it? So it's an
know.
expression that is usually referred to a player's skill level on the gaming platform Fortnite. But yeah, generally extremely bad or trash. It's used to say that someone or something is bad, usually related to gaming. Dog water.
Dog
water.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Our thesaurus is growing. Thesaurus? Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we would use these words to replace the other words we're using.
Part of me wanted to expand on this and talk about retired expressions.
Oh, well, most of them are racist, so we can't really bring them up on the show.
Sorry, of the millennial era.
Oh!
Yeah.
Some of them are still racist, though.
Some of them are still racist. Fair.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So, sorry. You were saying, game.
Yeah, it's called Mind Meld, and it's really simple. We just have to say the exact same word at the exact same time. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, go, and then we'll both say a word. And it won't be the same.
No.
Unless it is. And then it'll be just wild. But we could try to come closer together in words and see. I don't know if anyone's ever done it before. If I've seen a lot of this on the socials, but I don't know that I've seen anyone succeed.
Sorry, what is this game called?
Mind Meld.
Meld.
Okay. Meld.
We're trying to get to the same word.
So the word go in the vis-a-vis the following 1, 2, 3 go.
Yep.
Go is where we'll put the word that we're going to say. So when I count to 3, then we say the word.
1, 2, 3.
Word. Okay. Ready? Any questions?
No.
Hey, why?
Wait, are we going to say 1, 2, 3 again? Or we just start saying words and try and get them closer?
No, we got to keep saying 1, 2, 3, go. Otherwise I'll get too excited and know.
Okay, we'll just be shouting
going.
words.
Yeah. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Turkey.
Green.
No, we have to say it at the same time.
Sorry. It was close.
1, 2, 3.
Tomato. Colin.
You have to say
it.
1, 2, 3 word. There's no pause. Okay? Let's not double Dutch. Just go for it, okay? What was the last word you just said?
Tomato. What did you say? You didn't say a word.
No, I didn't. I was going to say color, though. Because I was trying to, bracket it, but okay.
Okay.
1.
Well, you said turkey, and then I said a food.
Yeah, no, we both have the right idea. We just...
Oh, okay.
It's like when you're trying to pass someone in the hallway and you both make the same move and you're just always in front of each other. Okay.
And then you have to finally be like, I give you the right of way.
Plaster yourself to the wall. You go. I'll just... Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bread.
I blanked. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, think of a word. Do you have a word? Tell me when you have a word. There's a billion of them.
I know there's too many.
Just pick the one that's in your head right now.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Airplane.
Toast.
We have to say them at the same time.
I thought we did. You said it at the same time as me in my recording.
Oh, there's a delay on my end. I see.
Oh.
It was okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Ready?
I don't know. Yes.
One more
Okay.
one more round. Okay, ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Jam.
Rocket ship.
Nah, yeah, we didn't.
No.
We didn't do very well.
We're not there.
Speaking
That's okay.
of rocket ship, though, did you hear what SpaceX did?
They launched a rocket ship. No.
They launched a rocket ship.
Okay.
So it was the big ass one, like the one that's going to have people in it, like the one that brought the astronauts to the ISS. But this was like the 5th launch of that shuttle, or I don't know. But the cool thing is they brought the rocket booster back. Like they've been doing this for a while now.
Impossible.
Are you not familiar with this?
I thought they exploded and you couldn't use them again.
So it's just a giant tube with solid fuel inside it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of rocket motors on the bottom to direct where the rocket's going.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, an explosion, but the whole thing stays intact. And generally, they would just stay up in space and float, but or fall to the ground depending on where they were in the launch. But SpaceX developed their rockets to come back down. Like they'll just fall forever, and then when they get close, they've got their rocket boosters turn on and they fire them so they slow down, and they have ones on the sides so that they can change the angle of descent and stuff like that. And they've been landing these rocket boosters, on landing pads on land, on landing pads in the water, and most recently, like the tower that holds up the spaceship.
Yep.
Before the little things come aside, the chopsticks come out, the arms move, and the thing takes off. Well, the rocket booster came back down and hovered beside the tower, and the arms came back and grabbed it. So it wasn't even touching the ground. You know what I mean? Like the distance
was like waiting for a tiny little hug from this.
Yeah, it was like incredible feats of engineering and you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. And I sometimes can't even leave the house on time. I don't understand how to cover this spread. How does that happen?
So
how does so many good things happen to one guy? And he's also going to be co-president.
Co-president?
Yeah, I think he's like huge in Donald Trump right now.
Oh, cool. He's gonna slide in his ideas. Just be like, here you go.
Well, it really works out for Donald Trump that he's got access, unfettered. Like no one at Twitter shutting his account down during this election campaign.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. Because that's like, I don't want to say what kept things civil, but like them shutting down his account, he was no longer able to post kind of like the bonkers things that he was putting up. And, it was causing a lot of controversy, but I don't know if this is true, but I kind of perceived it as a tactic to steer people's attention away from other stuff that he was doing.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't be surprised.
Like an attention diverter,
you can realistically, I think this, and not to the extreme, but you can look at what is on the news and hear what people are reporting on and what journalists are covering, all this kind of stuff. And my question is always, what aren't they showing us? What aren't they telling us, kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
are they trying to give us something to appease us, to distract us, to make us look over here? Same idea, like keep them occupied on looking at this so they don't see what we're doing over here, which is way worse. I don't know. I'm sure it's partially true, but not too way worse.
But a little bit.
Someone actually in real life said that the other day, and I laughed so hard, and no one else understood.
They're like, it's not that funny. Yeah. You're like, we just got 3 answers, and it was formatted the same way this almost 6-year-old I know does. So,
oh man,
good times.
Well,
yeah. This was loaded. No,
this was a good one. I don't even know.
Dang.
I don't even know what to title this one.
I do. Don't worry about it.
Oh, perfect. I love it. This works out well for me. Great. All right, friends. We will talk to you next time.
Next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And toodles.